Lamentations chapter 4, about verse 14. Well, make it 13. Matter of fact, just make it 11. And it stuck with me because it was the first thing came to my mind when I heard him say it. We'll get to it in a minute. So it says, y'all have accomplished his fury. He hath poured out his fierce anger, and have kindled a fire in Zion, and it have devoured the foundations thereof. The kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. You know, I had a brother ask me earlier this week. He said, if Yahshua was the sacrifice, when was he burned? Now, y'all should know the answer to that question. If he was the sacrifice, when was he burned? Go ahead. If Yahshua was a burnt offering and a sacrifice, when was he burned? Absolutely. Now he just sat back and he said that he's kindled a fire in Zion, it devoured the foundations thereof. And the kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would have not believed that the enemy would have entered into the gates of Jerusalem.
We couldn't hear him.
Huh?
We couldn't hear the answer.
Oh, it was his persecution. You should have already known the answer.
Yeah, I mean, but
First, yeah. Oh, yeah, I hear you. Hey, it'll get around there after a while. 1 Corinthians chapter 2. He said the kings of the earth wouldn't even believe that this had happened. Well, let's see why they wouldn't have believed it. Lord willing, we'll look at a couple of these things and go into some more detail or something that we looked at on Wednesday too. You know, a lot of our people want independence, they want freedom, but the one place that we gonna get our freedom from, we don't seek it, and that's God. You know what I'm saying? We also gonna deal with something too that I've been mentioning here too, cause with this situation that's going on, you know what I'm saying? Dudes, you know what I'm saying? You got Bloods and Crips linking up. You know what I'm saying? You got people they did the same thing in Ferguson too. You know, cities having protests at the same time they were protesting in Ferguson, just like they doing in Baltimore. So it seems like you got black people trying to shoot together for one common cause. But it's going to come a time when we may start to come together in one common cause. And because the reason why I'm mentioning this here is because niggas was talking about Uncle Tom's. Now, don't get me wrong. Hold on. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, we want about verse 6. Don't get me wrong. I ain't never liked the Uncle Tom, never had, never will. I remember being locked up in the county and it was 2 black COs, man, them niggas really grinded my gears something fierce. And I had to tell them niggas, nigga, this is not 1845, nigga. You know what I'm saying? At the time, I was 21 years old. See, some of y'all don't see, yeah, some of y'all don't know, boy. Boy, you be young. I'm telling you, man. That's why them young boys out there snapping. When I go sit back think on my youth, boy, your understanding is zero. You know what I'm saying? For foolishness, for that rallies, it's zero. You know what I'm saying? You going from 0 to 60 like this here. I can remember yelling at them 2 niggas right now. Nigga, it's not 1845. Nigga, slavery been over. Nigga, I don't care we in jail or not. You know what I'm saying? Nigga, respect my mind, nigga. Because the nigga already know you not gonna size me like this outside of here. Y'all not gonna do that. Just like most of y'all know them police officers, you take that utility belt off of them, they ain't finna do nothing. Hey man, mute your phone. We don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that. He said, howbeit, we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the princes of this world that come to naught. But we speak the wisdom of God in a mystery, even the hidden wisdom, which God ordained before the world unto our glory, which none of the princes of this world knew. For had they known it, they would have not crucified the Lord of glory. You would have came back and told Pilate that they would have been able to do that to the Lord. You think he'd have believed it? You'd have told Herod, sit back and look at what he told Pilate. Come over here to John chapter 19. Just look what Pilate he got going on. And I don't have John 19 in this book. Hey man, you gotta mute your phone or something, man. Good grief. and stuff talking about somebody mean. I don't think everybody really care to hear none of that. Don't sound like that's a conversation for everybody. John 19:7. Or make it 5. Then came Yahshua forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man. And when the priests therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. And when Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid. And he went again into the judgment hall, and saith unto Yahshua, Whence art thou? But Yahshua gave him no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him, Speak thou not unto me? Know thou not that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? Yahshua answered, Thou could have no power at all against me, except it were given to thee from above. Therefore he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin. When we sit back and we look at it, you know what the scribes and Pharisees would be classified as, along with Judas? What y'all think they would be classified as? Don't everybody answer at one time. Not devils. What y'all really think? I'm going to read the next verse to you. Maybe that'll click in your brain. And from henceforth Pilate sought to release him, but the Jews cried out, saying, If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever make himself a king, speak against Caesar. What type of men these is? Them Uncle Toms.
Yeah. Trump's the meaning.
Them Uncle Toms. And what that meaning is,
Stop.
I don't want my oppressor to lose his place. See, this man coming up thinking you know what I'm saying? Why they take care of me? Why do you think that you sit back and you look at look at the American system, how it is right now. You know what they'll do for them white women, the United States government will do for a black woman.
What they'll do?
They'll tell her like this here. We'll give you HUD. We'll give you Section 8. We'll give you somewhere to stay. Just don't have a man in there. Because I know some people who've been living with a woman who was on HUD or on Section 8, and when them people come to do their routine checks, he got to scramble to get his stuff all out the house to make it look like he don't live there. Because if they catch him living there, they're going to take it from him. So guess what they end up replacing that man with? She your husband. You know what I'm saying? The white man, why they like this here? Hey there, baby. Things like this here. I give you food stamps. I give you a check. I give you this. Just don't have no man. Don't you notice all the stuff that they'll give a black woman? They'll tell her that, throw that one caveat in there. Just don't have a man though. Don't have no man though.
Are you right?
You know what I'm saying? So you know what this ends up doing? It ends up causing that black woman to sit back and look at that black man as her enemy.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know what I'm talking about? That's why you know that. How many of y'all seen that lady who walked up and beat her son across the head because he was out there protesting? Go ahead.
I'm saying you what?
Yeah. Now how many of y'all thought she was right in doing that? I ain't talked to y'all about it Wednesday. How many of y'all thought she was right in doing that? Don't everybody speak at once now. Don't everybody speak at once now. So ain't nobody got nothing. So nobody thought she was right. How many of y'all thought she was wrong in doing it? You thought she was wrong? You thought she was right? How many of y'all thought she was right? But you know what? You know why she wasn't right in doing what she was doing? In her mind, she thinking, I'm sparing my son from something happening to him. You know what I'm talking about? But in actuality, what you doing is you telling your son not to stand up against the people who constantly and consistently beating him across his head. Why you think they took this woman and put her on television and showed her off in front of the whole country? See this black woman right here? See, she know how to keep her little niglet in line. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they call
Man, you got one thing for certain, two things for sure, man. But you know a black woman know her baby when she see him. She said, I know that old big head nigga, you can't fool me with. She sat back, look at this old skinny bean pole nigga. I see that nigga. And now, In her mind, she might have thought she was doing the right thing. But see, that's some of that stuff that's in that Willie Lynch thing. If you catch your son standing up, beat him. Don't never have him stand up against us. To have that, see what it is it calls a condition in your mind that you would never come against them. You know what I'm saying? They always want you to teach your sons to never come against them. You know what I'm saying? I mean, me personally, I know what my mama would have did. Nigga, if them cracker kill you, you go to prison, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? Shit like this here, but my mama knowing me and what type of man that I am and some of the stuff she put in my mind, she'd already know. I know my son gonna be out there. Last thing I'm gonna do is go slap him up because he out there standing up. That's the last thing Rosalind was gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just saying that there because in my youth, Mom Dukes pushed Malcolm X on me. She ain't pushed Martin Luther King. She wanted me to look at Malcolm. So you already know if Mom Dukes got me looking at Malcolm, you already know Mom Dukes stamping that. She already stamping that. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I'd have been out there, and that would have been my wife, and my son would have been out there, I say, don't you go hit that boy, I'm going to hit you. You know what I'm talking about? You let that boy do what he feel like he need to do. But the reason why that black woman would go do that, because she don't know. Y'all don't get harassed by the police like that. You know what I'm saying? Police don't pull y'all over and do that. Police don't beat y'all up and slap y'all up. Most of y'all done seen Menace to Society. You just seen how in that movie they pulled Kane and that boy over and then took him and beat him up and dropped him off in the Latino neighborhood, hoping them dudes would kill him. That stuff happens for real. In some places they really do take black men, beat them up, drop them in an opposing neighborhood, hoping them dudes gonna do something to them. So when she was actually coming to do that, whether she knew it or not, she was actually emasculating him. When you actually see the interview that's given where he's sitting there talking, you can see his testicles have been completely removed. He will be docile and never a threat to this system for the rest of his life. See, being a threat to this system don't necessarily mean you stand up and you rise up with violence. You know what I'm talking about? See, I want y'all to look at Judges chapter 15 to show you what I'm talking about the people being scared of their oppressor and taking somebody who was to come deliver them from the oppressor. They want to take him and kill him. You know what I'm saying? See, that's that Uncle Tom spirit. See, you don't want none of that. See, I wouldn't have beat Jit up for that, but at the same time, and the meme was appropriate. They ridiculed Adrian Peterson for whooping his son, for putting his sayings on his little brother to teach his son, you don't fight your brother. Because that's what he whooped the little boy for. Because he was putting his hands on his brother. And he was trying to teach him, you don't fight your brother, you love your brother. They painted him as an evil man, but and a horrible parent, but they lauded her as a great parent for busting her son upside the head because he said, I'm sick of y'all police busting us upside the head. You don't see the hypocrisy in that? I know some of y'all done seen that meme. They've been running that meme all week. Yeah, they were running that meme all week. Just a picture of Adrian Peterson and a picture of that black woman. And then the worst part was that black woman had weave in her head and it was blonde weave. At that. You know what I'm saying? Blonde weave at that. I want about Judges 15 and Judges 15 and about verse 4. So when you see that, you know this paints the picture. Because sit back looking at it now. When we actually analyze and look what Adrian Peterson did. I'm chastising my son to love his brother. Think about that now. I chastise my son for him to love his brother. You know what I'm saying? Not to beat your brother, not to harm your brother, but to love your brother. And she chastised her son for standing up against his oppressor. Now you sit back and think about that. See, the first thing you women gonna think about is, I don't want nothing to happen to my baby. I don't want the white man to get... Did y'all hear about the story where they told the parents of that boy who tore up that police car? They told him to turn himself in. Then they gave the young nigga $500,000 bail after he turned himself in. Now his parents are regretting that they told him to turn himself in. can't get him out. Why? Because you fell for the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? Where it come in at, cuz you trust your old prep. I'm be honest with you. My son would have did something like that. I'd be like, look here, man. Better go hide out somewhere. You know what I'm saying? Better go hide out somewhere. Shoot, I probably ain't got no money to hide that nigga out somewhere. Just hide out. Just keep it low profile, son. I wouldn't have told my son to turn himself in. And I ain't got to even be with the word. I ain't telling them nothing. Shh, they catch it, they catch it. Because I know me. If I would have messing with me, man, I might have been out there with him. I'm talking about crushed the windshield out and took a dump right in the front seat. I'm telling you, man, I ain't gonna sit back and lie to y'all, man. I do not like the police. At all. If you ain't, I know some people who do. I don't like the police. And my daddy was a police officer for 25 years. I don't like the police. And I'm talking about, and truth be told, the police ain't never did nothing to me. I came out the womb like, I don't like y'all. Like straight up. You know what I'm saying? I don't like y'all. Because I know what the police is for. The police ain't nothing but modern day slave catchers. You know what I'm talking about? That's all they are. That's all they are. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff talking about, they here to protect and serve. Yeah, I bet they is. I bet they is. They here to serve the racist interests of America. They ain't here to serve no black people, I tell you that. That I know. Nigga, my daddy done told me some stuff. Nigga, I already know. The people like, man, you got to know the police style. You ever see the Fraternal Order Police logo? Man, it's the Boffman. It's a goat head. It's the goat of Mendes. The devil head. Can't trust nobody. Your logo, the devil head. You ever seen the FOP logo? On Beach Boulevard. Right before you get the Armies. That's an FOP, it's the FOP credit union. You'll see it clear as day. And they got Horace and all that stuff in there, man. You know what I'm saying? Them niggas be getting in that lodge and playing with each other booties. It's a FOP lodge. It's a FOP lodge right before you finna get ready to get on State Street or Union Street, whatever that is, before you get ready to get on the Matthew Bridge. Because I always get them roads twisted.
That's definitely that.
That's Union Street then.
Yeah, but that's definitely that.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't really trying to point in that direction.
Oh, you're trying to point that.
Actually, you can't point in that direction. You still get there because you can get on the thing on the loop-de-loop and still turn back around and go that way. So, blah on you, buddy.
So you got to turn back around and go back.
Either way it goes.
So
it work you around where you're going to me. But really, I did lifting my hand up.
Yeah, sure you.
But listen to me. You know what I'm saying? What I'm talking about is the building. Right there when you getting on the bridge. When you finna get on the Matthew Bridge. It's an FOP lodge right there. And they got that 5-pointed star, tilted goat head. They telling you they the devil. You know what I'm saying? I just ain't never. Plus, I guess because I'm from Jacksonville. And I'm from the South. I don't know where some of y'all from and what they do in y'all city, but police kill here. And they have for a long time. And this is one of the most racist cities in the United States of America that don't nobody know about. For being racist. You know what I'm talking about? Like Atlanta, you know, they got a history of being racist. You know what I'm saying? You know, lot of cities in Alabama, they got a history for that. This whole state of Virginia has a history of that. You know what I'm saying? They ain't one city, the whole state of Virginia. You know what I'm talking about? Just get the whole state. Yeah, pretty much the whole state of Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, when we talk about state of Florida, all the Panhandle and Northeast Florida, wow, all that. You know what I'm saying? Mississippi, most of Texas. You know what I'm saying? So when you sit back and you look at all this stuff, man, these people, nigga come from that. Like when I was in prison, a dude was from Chipley, which is in the Panhandle. Chipley, Florida, a little small town. And he was like, they were openly racist where he was at. And I told him, I would appreciate that more.
Yeah, straight up.
You know what I'm saying? Because I know what you're dealing with. See, here they cloak it and cover it. If you would see some of these ads they running, they having the mayoral race going on right now. Jacksonville has its first black mayor ever in its history. This city been around a long time, and Alvin Brown is the first black mayor in the history of this city. And the ads that they run about this man is so racist. They ain't coming out and saying it, but you can catch what they doing. You know what I'm saying? See, cities like Atlanta and Baltimore, you know what I'm talking about? And I know in some other cities, you know what I'm saying? They done had a lot of black mayors, a lot of black leaders and black people in influential places. Jacksonville ain't never had none of that. Never. You talking about a city been around for almost 200 years, you only had one black male? And that wasn't until 2012? We only had one black sheriff, and that nigga sold niggas up the doo-doo creek for real. You know what I'm saying? And they got a black nigga running for sheriff right now. One black sheriff in the history of the whole town. One. That's it. You know what I'm saying? So when you got niggas like that in those type of positions in authority, and it's come a black man stand up and he go to rocking the boat, this is what they gonna do. Judges 15 and 4, this is what they gonna do. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes and took firebrands and turned tail to tail and put firebrand in the midst between two tails. And when he had set the firebrands on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistine and burnt up both the shocks and also the standing corn and the vineyards and the olive. Guess what they ended up doing? What they doing up there in Baltimore right now? What they doing up there in Baltimore right now? Burning up the stuff where they make their money. And what did Samson just turn around and do? Burnt up the stuff where they, now we ain't telling nobody to go burn nothing down now. I don't want none of you niggas run off into my, he just said go burn some stuff up. I ain't telling nobody to go burn nothing up. Absolutely. And when he had set the brands on fire, verse 6, and the Philistine says, who have done this? And they answered, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timonite, because he had taken a wife and had given her his companion, and the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire. And Samson said unto them, though you have done this, yet will I be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. Remember how we just sat back and looked at that on Wednesday? I'm going to get my vengeance, and then I'm going to stop. That's the same thing he did to the Egyptians. Once I get my vengeance, then I'm going to stop. I ain't going to stop till I get it. He said he smote them with them hip and thigh with a great slaughter. And he went down and dwelt on the top of rock Etam. Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Judah and spread themselves in Lehi. And the men of Judah said, why are you come up against us? And they answered, to bind Samson we are come up, to do to him as he hath done unto us. The 3,000 men of Judah went to the top of rock Etam and said to Samson, listen to what these niggas said. Know thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What is this that thou hast done unto us? And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so have I done unto them. So you sit back and look at it. That's what you see them brothers up there doing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? We gonna do to them what they've been doing to us. You know what this actually is a foreshadowing of? Hold what you got come to Revelation 18. They don't know they doing it. They don't know they doing it. Revelation 18 and 1. But I'm gonna sit back and tell you, see the first thing them niggas scream? Man, don't you know they got rule over us? Oh, Uncle Tom, nigga. Man, look here, man. I thank the Lord for the mind I got now. And even then. Because I don't know what I would have did if I'd have been living then. But I pray to God he gave a mind. Samson burned them niggas down. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about I would want to kill myself if he gave me a mind to say, you know they rule over us. Why you do them to that? They gonna do something to us. That's what them niggas was screaming, we ain't got no king but Caesar. You old sour nigga. You like these people ruling over you? Man, I ain't tell you no lie, man. My homeboy, that dead Damon, man. I told him that when I first got out of prison, man. Because when I was rolling around, man, and I seen one of my homeboys, and he was like, you know what I'm saying? Damon had a lot of weight with me personally and in our neighborhood. You know what I'm talking about? So, when my homeboy, Lil Craig, which was his cousin, that nigga was like, yeah, man, Big Cub want to see you. I went to go see him ASAP. Nigga say, Big Cub want to see me, man. Nigga gotta go see what Cub talking about. I know some of y'all got a family member like that or somebody you grew up with like boy, they want to see you, boy, you trying to see what they talking about. Man, we was sitting there talking, and I might have been off a couple years, because, you know, my brother-in-law tell you, I throw a year out there real quick. But, boy, I've been ready. I told him, like, man, cuz, I've been ready to leave here since 88. You know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't my home. I don't like it here. You know what I'm saying? I'm into history. I don't know about some of y'all. See, I don't read to be entertained. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a true story. I started reading to be entertained in 1986. Now, in fact, let me take that back. 1987. Second grade. That's when I stopped reading to be entertained. Something came into my mind at that time that any reading that I would do from that point on would be for educational purposes only. I was a nigga in the class that would read 3-4 chapters ahead of everybody else on my free time. You know what I'm saying? Especially in history class, because I enjoyed that. You know what I'm saying? And when you actually begin to study American history and study world history and study these things that going on, there's no way possible that I would want to be here. When I actually began to dig and read what these people did to my ancestors, I was filled with contempt. As I began to grow in this land and see how we were still being treated, I began to feel with contempt. I told y'all about COINTELPRO. These people purposely made a plan to destroy the civil rights movement. Truth be told, that's all we seeing manifested itself again 50 years later. That's all you seeing. It's just a different generation doing the same thing. Only difference is, I don't think ain't no rights gonna come up out of this one here. It's just gonna explode. But you know what I'm saying? Let the Lord do as he see fit. You know what I'm saying? But you seeing the same thing? Because who was behind all the protests in the 60s? It was the jits. It wasn't the older people. Them jits were tired of it. They said, we gonna buck. Nigga, Martin Luther King wasn't that old when he stood up and did all that stuff. Y'all seen that nigga with baby face. You know what I'm saying? Malcolm wasn't that old when he got out of prison and stood up and did that stuff. Fred Hampton was 21 years old. Huey Newton was young. They were young. That's why I told you, that's why they keep the younger dudes away from the older dudes in the chain gang. Them younger dudes might light a fire up under them niggas. They might get their testicles biting. See, I'm telling you, man. Some of these black dudes been living in America long enough, man. Them niggas, what they do to the dogs? They spade them or they neuter them? Yeah, them niggas been neutered. Yeah, they been neutered. Nigga nuts gone. You know what I'm saying? Nigga just got your nuts in a bag, rolling around like dice. You know what I'm saying? Them young boys, them boys they say, boy, our things hanging low, boy. I'm a buck. You know what I'm saying? That's why they ain't got no understanding. See, them dudes didn't hear. If you listen to that show, you can hear it in my voice. I was ready to ride right then. I just know I can't do that. If it wasn't for the word, I'ma ride. Nigga, I don't see that. Boy, if these niggas was like, bro, I told them niggas, I told them what Trick Daddy said, man. I told him just like that, man. I said, we feel just like Trick Daddy. He said, man, just give me a couple choppers and a few good men. And we gonna break Brody Rowe out the pen. That's all I need to say. Just give me a couple weapons and a few good men, nigga. I don't need but 3-4 niggas. We could do it. Cause I already know you get 100 niggas, man, 50 of them hoes. 15 of them gonna get scared when they go to fire. 10 gonna die, and the rest gonna ride. The rest gonna ride. Revelation 18:1. And after these things I saw another great angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried with a cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins, that you receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her according to her works, in the cup which she hath filled to her double. And how much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire, for strong is Yah who judge her. Did y'all just sit back and see how Samson came through with fire and burnt up all them people's stuff in one day? and killed all the men, and it wasn't nothing but mourning and famine. He burnt up all the food. Y'all didn't even see that Samson did all that, did he? Samson burnt off. But you see what he kept saying? I'm coming to do to her what she did to me. And now you... huh? Right? The tail, they sit back. We'll deal with that in a minute. You got to wait on that there to see the direction he take us on. We'll deal with that in a minute, the Lord permits. But sit back and look what's going on here. He said, reward unto her double as she had done. Now you sitting back and you seeing these young men burn this city up. You seen them do it in Ferguson. They trying to reward this whore with what she done given us. You know what I'm saying? You busting me upside my head. Let's sit back and look at what they used to do to us. Burn crosses in the front yard, burn your house down, blow up churches. These people were so evil, they would blow up churches. You claim you believe in the same God and you would blow up a place of work. It don't matter that these people were idolaters. You know what I'm talking about? But this how evil these people were. Y'all done heard about them little girl died in that church in Alabama they blew up in the 60s? You know what I'm talking about? Every man that they perceived to be a threat, they killed him. Medgar Evers. Get him out of here. You know what I'm saying? Then they tried a nigga like that. I seen them kept running Al Sharpton, drug addicted behind on the news. Talking about he pushing somebody. Nobody care about no Al Sharpton, man. Nigga look like a walking corpse. You know what I'm talking about? You got Jesse Jackson, Osar behind, they rolling this nigga out here. Nobody want to see this nigga. Then I seen somebody say, oh man, don't let Benjamin Trump be the family for Freddie Gray. That nigga 0 for 3. I already told y'all about Benjamin Trump. That was the dude who was the lawyer for Mike Brown people and Trayvon Martin. Every time a nigga get killed, this nigga pop up. Man, if Al Sharpton come on the scene, ain't nothing good going on. I'm telling y'all something, man. I want y'all to remember this here. If you see Al Sharpton, if you see Benjamin Crump, if you see Jesse Jackson, they just running them niggas out there to pacify somebody. These niggas ain't about nothing. But see, the young niggas, they don't know who Al Sharpton. He has no reputation with them. Man, Jesse Jackson was out there somewhere. He asked some little girl, did she know who he was? And she was like, no. And that nigga walked off. Don't nobody know who these niggas are? So they don't hold no weight. Man, did y'all see on CNN that they showed a nigga who they picked up and threw him in an armored vehicle and drove off with it? Dude was out there protesting, man. They pulled up in the armored vehicle, man, snatch and grab. That's some CIA type stuff. Disappeared just like this here. Don't nobody know where he at, what happened to him. All we got to do is take your word for it. And the reason why they wanted to get him, that was a 21-year-old male. He was standing up for something. He might have not been out there burning nothing, but it was the threat that he represented. This is why I tell y'all, y'all can't be babying them little boys. You think that stuff cute, you're going to make your son to be a coward. He ain't going to be no man and stand up. And the only reason why you do him like that because you fearful what them people going to do to him. I thank the Lord, man. Even sitting back looking at it, man, when I fell on my face and bust my whole mouth up, my mama said, you all right, nigga. Ain't nothing wrong with you. In my mind, I'm like, nigga, you lying. But at the same time, she telling you, you got to man up. That don't mean you can't love your son, but y'all don't sit back and realize, man, them people fear. I remember when I was in high school, Dean Williams, a black woman. I'm telling you, I was real outspoken. Nigga, I was going to say it. Ain't care if you didn't like it or not. I'm going to stay there. She said, your mouth going to get you killed. I say, it's whatever, nigga. I ain't scared to say what ain't nobody say. I ain't like the rest of these niggas ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to say something. Because I don't see you. I ain't scared of y'all. Ain't no fear in my heart. My heart don't pump no Kool-Aid. You know what I'm saying? They fear black men like that. They fear that. That's why they were happy that that mama come up there and bust that boy upside the head. That's why they snatched and grabbed that young man. That's why they killed men like Malcolm. That's why they killed Medgar Evers. That's why they killed Fred Hampton. That's why they framed Huey Newton and turned around and killed him. That's why they do that. They don't want you to stand up and be no man. And a lot of you women, you don't want your son to be no man because you scared for his life. You won't come out and admit it, but you scared for your life. It's intrinsically in you because you see what they do to black men. I don't want my son to end up that way. So I'm going to love him and do this for him and do this for him. He ain't going to never stand up. He always going to sit down. Even though he's standing up to urinate, he might as well sit down and do it. Lamentation chapter 4. See, the only time you want your son to be a man is he a nigga in the streets or slinging penis. Oh, my son a heartbreaker. You want him to be hard then, don't stand up against Whitey, son. You know what I'm saying? Brother saying something the other day. A lot of time, man, you got to go ahead and comply. But unfortunately, you done had situations where brothers complied and still got killed. You know what I'm saying? I was going to be that nigga, you don't kill me, boy. I'm trying to tell you, you going to remember me, Cracker. That's the only thing you should be floating through my mind. If you do anything to me, you going to remember me. You going to remember me, buddy. I promise to you, we going to fight. We going to fight. I done a couple officers, boy. I didn't want, and I'm talking about, I ain't no fighter either. Anybody who know me know I ain't known for fighting nobody. I fight the police, though. When I was in prison, I'd have fought a CO, though. When I was in prison, man, I ain't had no beef with nobody but blue on. With blue on. I had beef with a nigga with brown on. I ain't want to fight nobody with no blue on. I read about some gangster nigga in New York, man. Big, I forget the nigga name. They said that nigga went to prison, he ain't fight one inmate. He only fought CO. And was knocking him out. I felt that nigga too. All I could think when I was reading the article, my nigga. Why would I want to come hurt my own people? Man, it's never entered into my mind to want to consciously harm my own people. I ain't never wanted to harm my own people. I would go at great lengths to remove myself from a confrontation that would cause me to have to harm my own people. The only way I would harm my own people is if someone who I loved and cared for, their life was in danger, and it necessitated that I may have to harm someone. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that self-hate and self-loathing for myself that I would openly manifest on my own people. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Caucasians. And I didn't hate the other races, but I knew who my enemies are. In general, I know that the European people have no love or care for my people. And the minute that we become no longer any use to them, we are expendable. I'm not naive enough to think otherwise. We are expendable. The minute that these people can't make no more money off of us and they have no more use for us, they will get rid of us. And if you don't think that they will, you fooling yourself. Because these people don't care nothing about us. If they could, they would have already gotten rid of us. So it means that we'd have to start coming together and look at each other and start actually doing what the Lord tells you to do, which is love your neighbor as you love yourself. Even if they don't even have no knowledge of the word, you still ought to love. I love all my people, no matter where I run across the back, no matter where I see them. People be seeing me all the time, man. They don't know what type of time I'm on. They'll just stop and talk to me. A lot of times I be on a mission. Anybody been around me when I'm on a mission, man, I don't want to talk. But I still sit back, man, and I talk to them. A lot of them don't, man. They don't know what type of time I'm on, man. They don't know nothing about me preaching the word. They just see, well, that's a big old nigga right there. Dude walked up on me yesterday, say, man, what position you played? He just asked me that because I had a Jaguar t-shirt on. It was draft night. I would have went to the draft party, but I just didn't really want to be there for 3 hours when I could look at that at the house. All I want to see, and we picking third. You know what I'm saying? You got to show love to people no matter where you go at. No matter what you do. To your own people. That's why I was telling y'all, have it in your mind that if you at first chance you would spend with your own people first. We know a lot of other niggas do bad business. You know what I'm talking about? But you know what that is? Because a lot of them ain't had nobody teach them and show them how to do business. That's why they do bad business. A lot of white folks don't have that problem because they had somebody teach them how to do business. See, our people don't teach, we don't teach each other how to do nothing. Call dropped again. You all right over there, boy? Look like you about to die.
Tired. Long day. I mean, long week.
I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah, 12, 45,
I'm just been trying to get it in, boy. I'm trying to pass this thing on the first try. All right, the call dropped on me. But let's go over here to Lamentation chapter 4, about verse 12 again. Lamentation 4 and 12. It say, the kings of the earth and all the inhabitants of the world would not have believed that the adversary and the enemy should have entered into the gates of Jerusalem. For the sins of her prophets, and the iniquities of her priests, that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her, They have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood, so that men could not touch their garments. They cried unto them, depart ye, it is unclean. Depart, depart, touch not. And when they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, they shall no more sojourn there. So now we look at it. We already read. He said, he that delivered me unto you, they have the greater sin, because the sin of a prophet and the iniquity of a priest, they shed the blood of the just in the midst of her. You know what I'm saying? Uncle Tom's killed the Son of God. See, let's go back to John chapter 11, verse 45. And then we'll go look at 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. Well, then, because what I'm trying to get y'all to understand is about false brethren. See, when they get real, see, even though we talking about coming together as us as a group first, and then you seeing our people. I've been telling you for a long time, a lot of Israelites want to unify. They want to unify. My whole thing was, I ain't never against black people coming together, but they want you to put aside what you believe and what you stand for unification, for unity. Y'all done heard, it ain't just believing in the man. I done taught, some of them believe you can put your penis in a woman and you married. Some of them believe you don't got to be baptized. Some of them believe you can cuss. Some of them believe you always gonna sin. Some of them believe it's certain things they gonna want you to compromise, and they think that you having a doctrine battle when it's simply the fact that I believe this, I can't compromise this in the name of unity. You know what I'm saying? No, we ain't the same, but at the same time, some of the stuff that those brothers talk about coming together for, I can't knock. Some of that stuff them Israelite dudes been talking about, who I know of, like one of them talking about coming together to feed the poor. The one thing I didn't like that I seen one group do is they put their pictures up of them doing it. This was recent. That go against the book. You know what I'm saying? You done messed around and you done did something. That means you ain't gonna get no reward for that. Some of them want to come together. Some of them want to come together and do business. Like I mentioned, the brother King Gashan. I don't know his real name, so I got to call him what his Facebook handle is. Gashan might actually be his name. But on Instagram, he got his Instagram page is Black Business Enterprise or whatever. His whole purpose of his page is to promote black businesses to other black people for you to spend with them. A lot of them brothers, that's what their objective is. Some of them want to build communities and everybody live there. Some of them got nefarious means. Some of them don't. You know what I'm saying? But that's what they trying to promote. But when you get to the point where we begin to start to come together in any take, form, or fashion, it's going to be some old Uncle Tom niggas in the cut waiting. Take you down. Listen to this here though. John 11:45. Then many of the Jews which came to Mary and had seen the things which Yahshua did, believed on him. But some of them went their way to the Pharisees and told them what things Yahshua had done. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we? For this man do many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away our place in the nation. Them some whole niggas right there. That's all they were looking at. They didn't even sit back and look at it. They could have a place with him, and they could sit down and grind with him. All they were looking at is what they were going to lose. And the only reason why they could look at that is they love the Romans more than they love their own people. Because you heard they say the Romans going to take away our place in the nation. Whole nigga. So now when you sit back and you look at it, and you look at every athlete, every entertainer, every politician, any black person of status in this country, period. When stuff get real, That's what they look at. We can't let these niggas get too buck. We gonna lose our place in they. You think Oprah trying to give up them billions to come down here and fool with y'all? You think Jordan trying to give up all this stuff here to fool with y'all? You know, I seen somebody run the little share the video of Carmelo. I don't know what Carmelo was talking about. I showed Langston the video of Ray Lewis talking. It was just funny to me because he sounded like somebody's daddy when he was talking. I don't even. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, remember though, we got to keep that in perspective. He wasn't convicted of murder. Matter of fact, the dude who actually stabbed and killed the dude, he actually beat the case. No, Ray didn't get let go. Ray copped out and testified against that man. But I'm talking about, but no, they didn't let Buddy go. Buddy went to trial and beat that. Yeah, he went to trial. Yeah, but he went to trial and beat that though. Regardless of what happened though, Buddy went to trial and beat that. You know what I'm saying? So you sit back now. What them niggas did and what they were plotting on, they know what they were doing in that limo. But either way it go though, Buddy beat that though. Say it was self-defense. But when you listen to Ray talk, it was just funny to me because me and Langston were working out. The nigga sounded like somebody's daddy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? How he sounded, how his voice sounded. You know what I'm saying? But ain't nobody asked you to do that, Ray Lewis. I'm telling you, I seen a little bit. I ain't paying no mind because it was funny to me how he sounded. I had said, listen to this nigga sounding like somebody's daddy, like he mad. You tearing up our city. You see the kid? But listen what he talking about. Our city. Our city. Our city. Our city. I want y'all to look at Deuteronomy chapter 28. He talking about this our city. After that, I think it's Jeremiah chapter 3 I want. It might be Ezekiel. He said, you tearing up our city. Then we'll look at Luke chapter 21. He said, that's what he said, ain't it? You tearing up our city, right? That's what he said, ain't it? Our city. Them niggas tell Jacksonville that niggas just be talking this is my city. You go to tearing it up. That's their city. That's what that same thing Malcolm X told you. He said when he got sick, he said, we sick, boss. We tired, boss. Ain't that what they say? They say, ain't none of my city. This ain't none of my land. You know what I'm talking about? Let me find the verse I want, Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Let me see what chapter verse that is that I desire. I know what to say, but I need to find that verse that I desire. Let me see the verse it is that I desire. Let's look at verse 43. And it says, the stranger that is within thee, yes, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. And he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him, and he shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. So when you look at a nigga like Ray Lewis, and hold on, that ain't what we came here for. Just give me a minute. We gonna get to what we came here for, but I need to look at this right here. When you look at Ray Lewis, he know that they the head and he the tail. They don't let him get his little show on Spike TV. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, they say he was supposed to work the draft last night, but he said he wasn't there because he had to be in Baltimore. I know he had to be there because you white folks told him to go. They feel like he got a little capital up there because of all the football he played. You know what I'm talking about? Say you played up there. You Ray Lewis. They know you. They love you. You Ray. They love the little dance you did, shaking your little groove thing. They loved every bit of that. You know what I'm saying? But hold on, we sit back and look at it. Come on, drop me down. Look what verse it is that I want. The words of it is in my head, but the verse is escaping me at the present time. Look at verse 36 of this same chapter. Listen to what he tell you. He say that Yah shall bring thee and the king which thou set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there thou shalt serve other gods, wood and stone, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations whither Yah shall lead thee. So that means he said, I'm going to bring you amongst another people, not just another land. Come over here to Jeremiah chapter 3. If it ain't Jeremiah 3, it's Ezekiel 5 that I want. I remember I used to tell this girl this here. Every time she'll call me asking me to tell people about the curses, how we Israel. I say, go on ahead and tell them why we here. It's Ezekiel that I want. I say, go on ahead and tell them why we here. She said, I'm going to tell them. I say, you ain't going to tell them nothing. You just want me to tell these people we Israel. You ain't going to tell them what really happened to them. That ain't even the chapter I want. But I think it's in the book of Jeremiah. But Jeremiah stated, he said, since you want to serve other gods in your own land, he said, I'll send you to a land where you will serve. Since he's wanting to serve other gods in your land, I'm going to send you to a land which is not yours, and you'll serve them people. So how you going to turn around and sit back and say that this is our city? You understand what I'm saying? Y'all hear me? You know what I'm saying? Now we can sit back and you like, okay, you know, like Denzel, he from Tuscaloosa. You know what I'm saying? And Brittany and Miles and Brian and Nicole, all them from New Bern. So you know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be natural. You gonna say your city. You know what I'm saying? In your speech. But when niggas go to tearing stuff up, this ain't none of my city. You can believe that. It's Jeremiah 5:19. I know it's Jeremiah the first. This ain't none of my city. You know what I'm saying? I say Jacksonville my city because I've been living here all my life. They go to tearing it up. Like this here. No, this ain't none of my city. Ain't none of mine. Jeremiah 5:19. Look what he told you. He said, it shall come to pass, when you shall say, where doth Yah our God all these things unto us? Then thou shalt answer them, like as you have forsaken me and served strange gods in your land, so shall you serve strangers in a land that is not yours. That means this ain't your city, this ain't your land, this ain't your home. And what's the first thing these people want to tell you? Our city. Well, in that same city just 60 years ago, you couldn't sit down and eat a plate with them people. Them people sprayed water hoses on. You couldn't even take a poop on the same pot as these people. Now 60 years later, it's our city. It's our country. We're not Afro-Americans. We're not white Americans. We're just Americans. I ain't nothing. I'm captive. You're holding me here against my will. 1 Thessalonians 2:13. I ain't come over here willingly. You don't want to let me go. I'm going to show you another reason why these people do what they do. After that, we're going to go to Zechariah chapter 11. Then after that, Romans chapter 8. He say, for this cause also we thank God without ceasing, because when you received the word of God, which you heard of us, you received it not as the word of men, but it is in truth the word of God, which effectually worked also in you that believe. For ye brethren became followers of the houses of God, which in Judea are in the Messiah Yahshua. For you also have suffered like things of your own countrymen, even as they have of the Jews, who have both killed the Lord Yahshua and their own prophets, and have persecuted us, and they please not God, and are contrary to all men. Now we sitting back looking at right now, brothers coming together or want to come together, talking about coming together, but wait till it get real. See, when I'm talking about getting real is when the word got to start coming into play. When the word got to, because we can do stuff with people, don't get me wrong. Because I know I done talk to people and I'm like, I don't have no dealings with them. You got to, I'm like, come on, man, don't be a nigga. I'm talking about interpersonal dealings with them. Because you know, man, if you start a business, you're going to have to do business with these people. Something come to my mind. We're going to read Zechariah chapter 11 before I read that. Zechariah 11:5. But these people sit back and they look at that when it get real and we have to start standing on the word and talking about the word, that's when it'll get real, and that's when these men will begin to want to do something to you. Because see, we can do business with anybody. You can have dealings with anybody. But see, the word is going to supersede what they got going on. Well, we can't cross that line. See, Brittany had her son Barbara call me, and he would wonder, oh, why she can't show me this stuff that I'm asking about. And then the nigga is confirming with his own statements why she can't do it. Because he think it's a difference of somebody verbalizing it versus somebody opening up the book and pointing to the verse and saying, see, this is why I can't do it. And I'm like, if I told you what Deuteronomy 22:5 said versus showing you, what's the difference in it? It's not a difference. So what's the problem? Because it's the same thing. But when I mentioned, you talking about, but see, because he was saying, well, why she can't, so she gonna go to hell for showing me? I'm like, yeah, sound like a cult to me. I say, hold on, let me tell you something. I say in a cult, somebody tries to control people's behavior. You know what I'm saying? You niggas can do and have done what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? I can't make y'all do nothing. Nor would I attempt to manipulate you to get you to do nothing. I'm going to tell you what the word say. You can make the choice to do it, or you can make the choice to not to do it. It's your soul. See, a lot of people get that twisted when you tell, so you telling them people if they do this, they going to go to hell. That sounds like a cult, sound like you controlling them. I ain't controlling nothing. They don't have to do it. She could have easily sat back and showed you and be like, I know I'm going to go to hell for this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Just like some of y'all make decisions to do certain stuff. I know I'm going to go to hell for it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Zechariah 11:5. We'll make it verse 4. It's something in Zechariah 11 I've been wanting to deal with, ain't dealt with it yet. I thank the Lord. I was talking to Qual about this about a couple months back, and I ain't never got around to it. Thus saith Yah my God, feed the flock of the slaughter. Listen to what he said. For whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, blessed be Yah, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. I know I called for Luke 21. I ain't forgot about it. But in Luke chapter 21, about verse 24, see, the Lord sat back and he told the people that that troops were coming to Jerusalem. And they would fall by the sword, and they would be scattered amongst the Gentiles till the time of Gentile be fulfilled. So he done sat back and telling them, you're not dwelling in your land. Same thing we just read in Jeremiah 5:19. And then those people who took possession of us to own us and hold us as slaves. Hold what you got. We're going to get to Romans chapter 8. Come on around here to Jeremiah chapter 51. Because he said, your possessor. Don't these people possess us at this time? Do not these people slay us and hold themselves that they ain't did nothing wrong? Them people beat the brakes off Rodney King, and it was on tape. They said, we ain't did nothing wrong. That police officer who killed Walter Scott, the only reason why he went to jail is because they had it on videotape. Them people that choked out Eric Garner said, I ain't did nothing wrong. The police officer that shot that little boy in Ohio, man, I ain't did nothing wrong. They killed Diallo, we ain't did nothing wrong. Man, there's so many dudes to name, you can't even name them all. There's too many. Man, I can't even think of all the niggas to name because they pop up all the time. Some of them justifiably so. Some of them not. Like I say, my homeboy Otis Williams was killed by Jacksonville Sheriff's Officer in 2007. I was incarcerated. The story that I was told that JSO said why they ended up beating and killing this man, it was bogus. It was bogus. Because anybody who knew Otis knew that was against his character, what they were describing that he did. Talking about he ran from them and fought with them and did all this here. This was a jokester, old fun-loving nigga. All he wanted to do was drink beer and smoke a joint. All the nigga like to do was joke, crack jokes, have fun, and chase hoes. That's all he did. They talking about he had dope on him, he did this, he did that. Anybody who know him, when they hear that narrative, they be like, I don't believe you. I know sometimes y'all be seeing these people, they be talking about that ain't my son and this ain't my homeboy, and they know that nigga was wicked. That's not, I'm talking about wicked as forth as the law, because we know he was wicked how he was living. But he didn't know nothing about God's word really in earnest and truth at that time. I know, knowing the word, I know he heard something before he left here, but he didn't really know. Like, really know. But you said that nigga wasn't no criminal. He wasn't no dope boy. He didn't do none of that type of stuff. and they making a description of this man saying he did this and he did that, man, nigga don't believe you. Because I know him. That don't even sound like him. If somebody would came up and say, yeah, boy, police beat up boss, man, he cussed him out. Somebody who know me will know, yeah, that sounds like something he'll do. Y'all know what I'm talking about when somebody make a statement and that don't sound like something that they would do. Yeah, that don't sound like him. That's not him. You lying. Man, I'm telling you, man, they beat that boy pretty bad. I ain't even know he was dead, man. When I got out of prison, man, I was like, I said, man, what's up with Otis, man? Where that nigga at? Man, fat boy looked at me and was like, man, Otis dead. I say, what? I didn't even know. He had been dead for 2 years by the time I came home. I ain't even know. Jeremiah 50:5. I ain't even know, man. Make it 4. I ain't even know. And then when my homeboy Armand told me the story, you know what I'm talking about? And began to run it down to me, I say, shoot, that don't even sound like Otis, man. Them niggas lying. I ain't even asked his cousin about it. Because he was incarcerated at the time. I ain't even asked him about it. Because I know him and his cousin were real kind of close, you know what I'm saying? I didn't let that alone. It wasn't no sense of bringing up, digging in that wound. Jeremiah 50:4. In those days and in that time, saith Yah, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek Yah their God. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, come, let us join ourselves to Yah in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They've gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, we offend not, because they sinned against Yah, the habitation of justice, even Yah, the hope of their fathers. That's the same thing Zechariah said. And you see the key thing he said? They own shepherds don't even pity him. I want you to come back to Romans chapter 8. We're going to deal with how the shepherds done led him astray, don't even pity him. So he just sat back and said, these people are killing us. And they saying we ain't did nothing wrong because they sinned against God. That's how these people feel. They feel they can do this to us because we in captivity. We can kill them. They sinned against God. We ain't guilty. I remember that same verse I read to you in Zechariah 11:5. Dude we went to school with had mentioned something about Otis about 3-4 years ago. I said, man, this is what it is right here, man. You know, Otis was a real cool dude, man. A lot of people had love for that dude, man. He even got niggas made a memorial page for him on Facebook 2-3 years ago. Nigga been dead. That's how much love people had for him. Police beat him down. They didn't shoot him, y'all. They beat him to death. Romans 8. Yeah. Romans 8 and 35. Who shall separate us from the love of the Messiah? Shall tribulation, or distress, or persecution, or famine, or nakedness, or peril, or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. That's how these people sit back and look at them. That's why he said your possessors, they slay you. They hold themselves not guilty. That's why we sat back and read in Revelation 18 on Wednesday. He say the land is filled with the blood of saints and prophets and all the blood in the earth. He said, I find this blood in here. I didn't even find it by secret search. I ain't even got to do no secret search. It's crime. Do you not know this man ears, like if we sit back and look at it and put it in our perspective, that this man eardrums probably would be about to bust from all the blood that's crying out unto him that has been spilled in this land. Not in the whole earth. Just this land. Just this land. And these people don't think they wrong for what they doing. See, we finna touch 3 things. Lord permit, we'll talk about the firebrands, but we talking about 3 things this evening. Uncle Tom niggas, us seeking salvation in places other than our God, and how these people will slaughter us and think they not wrong. Because you just heard in Jeremiah and Zechariah that this says your possessors slay you and hold themselves, and he's saying their own shepherds don't pity them. That's why I was sitting back telling y'all, I understand why them niggas is bucking. I just can't condone the rioting. I can't condone the burning stuff down. I can't condone the destruction of property. That's against the word. Just like I couldn't condone it in Ferguson when they did it, but I understand. Remember how Chris Ross said, I ain't saying he should have killed them, but I understand. Because you sit back and look at it, if some of y'all sit back and think on, remember, you ain't never heard me say nothing. You ain't never hear me condemn them for rioting. I ain't with it. I'm not going to go do it. Because I know it's not going to get these people to do nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Unless you do it on a real big scale. See, Ferguson wasn't that big of a city. They thought they could quell them niggas down. It's different in Baltimore. Baltimore ain't no little city. You understand what I'm telling you? Baltimore ain't no little city. Baltimore, Maryland is a major city in the United States, ain't it? You know what I'm saying? You got a major city in the United States of America on fire. You know what I'm saying? That's a bigger deal right there. You notice when, you remember them, it ain't just the martial, remember them boys went buck in LA? That was a real big deal. That's Los Angeles. That's Los Angeles. And them boys went buck wild in LA. Y'all don't, how many of y'all remember Reginald Denny? I'm talking about, any of y'all younger people know who that is? I'm going to take that silence as a no. Reginald Denny during the riot, that was a truck driver in LA. Them niggas snatched, the buddy was riding through the way, them niggas snatched buddy out that truck and bust him upside the head with a brick. White man in the wrong place at the wrong time. Because all they looked at him was, I'm going to take out the anger that I got on the police on you just because you white. You ain't necessarily did it, but you going to wear it today. Why you think niggas was out there celebrating when O.J. Simpson got off? Them niggas didn't care nothing about O.J. Simpson. It was about y'all done it was about y'all done locked up and convicted and killed so many innocent black men. It's time one of them got off. You know what I'm saying? It ain't necessarily nothing to do if he did it or not. It's just the fact you didn't get this one, buddy. That's why they were celebrating. You know what I'm saying? Because when you sit back and look at it, when you look at black people, we don't never get no wins in nothing. And nothing. Man, we get happy to take him how we get it. When the black folks heard that black woman come out there and say she was charging all 6 of them officers, them niggas were rejoicing in the street. Because they sitting back looking at what we did had an effect. But I seen Fox News interview somebody. And I don't know if he was put there or that was an actual regular black person. He said, man, we ain't stuck none of that. Because he said, man, if they don't get convicted, you're going to see a riot in Baltimore worse than LA and all across the country. And real talk, he said something real. If they get off, with 9 times out of 10, because it's 3 black people, they probably not. But if they don't go to jail, them niggas going to tear that city down. You can believe that. And truth be told, I couldn't even be mad at them if they did. I wasn't mad at them when they tore LA down. I understood. They had them on videotape beating the snot out this man. They had them on tape. And they beat it. When they came back with the not guilty verdicts in the Rodney King case, I was only like 12, 13 years old. I was shocked. I said, how could these people beat that? It was on tape. You seen them beat this man. They beat him unmercifully. And guess what this old country nigga did during the riots? Can we all just get along? No, we can't get along, nigga. Shoot, nigga, around that time, nigga Q dropping all them records, nigga, and all them niggas talking about nigga tear it up. That's how I felt, 12, 13. Nigga felt to tear that shit up then. And you come out there, can we just get along? Nigga ain't nowhere in the world I'm gonna come out there talking about can we just get along. And I'm the one they beat with them nightsticks like that. I done went out there on that camera. Hey man, tear it down. Burn it down. Keep going. Guess what? He ended up with that money and he dead now. You know what I'm saying? They tore that city down. You have to sit back and look at it. Y'all don't think, man, if them officers get off, man, if they go to trial and they not convicted, you don't think them niggas gonna burn that city down? They gonna burn that, and guess what? But guess what? Guess what though? It's the same thing like what happened with Martin Luther King when Martin Luther King died. If that go down like that and they burn that city down, boy, niggas all across the country gonna burn their city down. What you getting to is this the one. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff gonna come out, but see, but them niggas don't care, cause they sitting back looking at, I'm fed up. You reading what a book, your God is telling you that these people said we can kill you. Listen to the key thing he said. Your shepherds don't pity you. He said even your own people who pastor you and supposed to feed you and lead you, they don't care. That's what y'all supposed to let that sat in y'all brain. Y'all missed that part. Y'all missed that part. He said your possessors slay you and hold themselves innocent, saying we guilty. They sinned against Yah. And he said, and your shepherds pity them not. I want to tell you, I don't condone what they doing, but I understand. Because I know. When you, see, that's what I was trying to tell the young woman. She was like, see, you won't know till it hit home. You too late, buddy. My homeboy was killed by the law 8 years ago. They killed niggas in my city on the regular. I know. I just know I can't go about it in that fashion. My brother-in-law already know how I want to go about it. I told him that Tuesday night how to go about it. I told y'all that Wednesday, and I tell you again. If you want to go about taking these people down, rebuild your family. Rebuild your household. And hit them in their wallet. That's what I told them Tuesday night. Let the men stand up and be men. Lead the household and hit them in their pocket. And hit them in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and you look at Frank Lucas, he was a criminal though. But when they brought up how much money he won for selling heroin, that white dude snapped and say, ain't no nigga never made more money than the American mafia. And we talking about selling drugs, and that man was offended to say a black man did better than a white man. Niggas say we even do crime better than y'all. Y'all can't do crime better than us. They don't never want us to do nothing where we independent of them. That's why they did Suge Knight and Dame Dash and Jay Prince and Irv Gotti the way they did it, because they wanted to start their own record company outside of them. To put, you know what I'm saying? To put out black music for black people, owned by black people. So they had to do some things to besmirch these men's character and bring them down to nothing. Now you don't hear about any of these men anymore at the level that they were once at. Nigga, y'all don't even know. Some of y'all done forgot Irv Gotti even existed. You know what I'm saying? You only know. You know, but Jay Prince, he's still out here doing his thing. But you know, Jay Prince, you know what I'm talking about? But Irv Gotti and Dame Dash and Suge Knight was making a lot of money. You don't know nothing about Irv Gotti no more. That's Jay Prince. Y'all don't hear nothing about Irv Gotti no more. They done broke, and all they try to do is continue to not Suge Knight sitting in jail talking about if Floyd Mayweather win the fight, he gonna bond him out. I'm for real, he really said that. If he win the fight, he gonna bond Suge Knight out. If you gonna bond him out, just bond him out. That's how they got it. If I beat him, I'll bond y'all. I'm gonna tell you one thing, boy. White folks going to get their people. They ain't gonna play no game like that. I'm going to get mine. Come on back to Lamentation chapter 4. I'm going to get mine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I sit back and look at this stuff. These people think that they can do us like this. Hold on, let me go on over here to 2 Peter chapter 2 real fast. Because he said your shepherds don't even pity you. They don't even care nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? Then we'll go to Matthew 23. These people don't care nothing about you. That's why they don't have no, when you sit back and you look at it. Just like I mentioned, they always run Al Sharpton out to you, Jesse Jackson, all these old boot looking, like Khalid Muhammad said, sissified, nigger fried. You know what I'm talking about? Old punk fried nigger. To pacify you, because these men only care about what they can get out of you. These people don't care nothing about you. You know what I'm saying? All they care about, man, they just had Eddie Long out here, man. Man, that nigga had the carpet shag on his head. Didn't you niggas seen this nigga wig? Man, that nigga ought to been shot for that thing he had on his head, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's who they're, see, they can't run Eddie Long out there like that no more because he got caught playing with boobies. So they can't run him out there like that no more. Come with stuff. They had Jamal Bryant, old sissy booty behind out there. These are people they run out there for. These people actually don't pity you or care nothing about you. But I caught one dude on Fox News. I seen him. He told them white folk the business. Kept calling. He said, just call ahead and call him a nigga and stop it. See, when they were messing with Richard Sherman, it was already letting you know that thug is, but see, I've been through this here. Me and my homeboy, Ben White, they got certain code words that they say in news stories to let you know that they calling you a nigga. I can't remember all of them. Thug is one of them. You know what I'm saying? But see, they haven't been using it a lot. But lately, it really started when Richard Sherman did what he did to Crabtree in that football game. And they went to calling a Stanford graduate a very intelligent man a thug. Man, ain't never been convicted of any crime, ain't never did anything close to criminal behavior. But he was a thug. They were calling him a nigga. That year that they beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl, when he dropped out there and said, you don't never put no sorry nigga like Crabtree on me. And they say a mediocre receiver? Mediocre? When he did all that right there. They went to calling him a thug. They were calling him a nigga. Very educated man, far from stupid. From Compton, California. Far from stupid. Man know full well what he was doing. I mean, he really meant that because he don't like Michael Crabtree, but all you got to do is sit and listen to them people talk on them news stories, and you can catch the key words that they using when they actually besmirching you. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. He say, but there were false prophets among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth of evil spoken of, and through covenants with feigned shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now long time linger not, and their damnation slumber not. See, that's the whole key thing. They run these niggas out there in front of y'all with these feigned words like they care about y'all, but in actuality they trying to make money off y'all. That's why they ain't got no pity for what's happening to y'all. They don't really care. That's why they say, look at the iniquities of her priest and her prophet. She done shed the blood of the just in the midst. Now we know shedding the blood of the just, they done shed the blood of Yahshua right there in the middle of. But these same wicked men will turn around and tell on you to shed your blood in the time of trouble. Because these people really don't care. They have no pity for us. Period. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, man, I done had this conversation with my homeboy plenty of times. Man, I would rather stay down here poor with y'all than to go up there and live with them. We could get money together. I ain't got to go up there with them. For what? See, them people, man, to be a preacher, man, them people will give you a lot of money, man, you sell out. They'll give you a lot of money, man, they'll set you up real nice like you sell out. They'll give you whatever you're looking for. They'll give you whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? See, matter of fact, before we read Matthew 23, I didn't want y'all to hear Hebrews 11. Yeah, you know, Judah did, but he wasn't, you know what I'm saying? But it wasn't even that there about him selling out because he didn't want to, that he wanted the money. That nigga just was a buster. He was a false brother. 11 and 23 in Hebrew. Mm-hmm. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. You see that right there? I ain't scared of you, man. They didn't see him. Because the king said, let's kill all the Hebrew children. That's what I mean to sitting back talking about, man. That's what I mean when I'm talking about this right here. About not having no fear in your heart. See, that woman slapping her son up is because she feared the king's commandment. She feared they gonna lock him up. They might kill him. She was scared. She was scared. Y'all, and how many of you women, I guess you could just say yay or nay at this point. Matter of fact, just don't say nothing. I'll just deal with it later. A lot of y'all women, y'all sit back and you look at it, and some of y'all would have never thought that that woman did that out of fear of her oppressor, versus thinking she did that for the saving of her son. She did that because she was fearful. She feared her oppressor. See, Moses' mama, I don't see y'all. So what, you gonna kill all these babies? I don't see you. See, that was a woman, she was strong. She ain't had no fear for her son. Oh, they gonna kill him. They gonna do this here to him. She didn't have no fear. Verse 24, by faith Moses, when he would come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Listen to what he said. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Esteeming the reproach of the Messiah greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Listen what he say. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. That's something right there, ain't it? What y'all think about that when you hear that? What y'all think about when you hear that? I mean, and that would be a good instance. But what he was saying here is, he said he did not fear the wrath of the king. He forsook Egypt. Meaning he abandoned it, and he wasn't worried about the consequences that would come because he could see him who was invisible. So you know what this... See, let's go back and let's look at that in Exodus chapter 6. He wasn't scared. Exodus chapter 5 and 1, actually. Yeah, he wasn't scared. The reason why he said by faith he forsook the king as one who is invisible. So I'm going to read that one more time, because I want y'all to hit that hit in your brain. See, that's why I'm sitting here telling y'all, I thank the Lord, like I was never scared of these people. This man say, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. I'll read verse 28 too. And through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of the blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. They didn't fear the wrath, they didn't fear the government, because they trusted him who they couldn't see. So therefore that would give them the ability to stand up. Afterwards, Exodus 5:1. Afterwards, Moses and Aaron went in and told Pharaoh, thus saith Yah, God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast unto me in the wilderness. And Pharaoh said, who is Yah that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I know not Yah, neither will I let Israel go. And they said, the God of the Hebrews have met with us. Let us go, we pray thee, 3 days' journey into the desert, and sacrifice unto Yah our God, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword. And the king of Egypt said unto them, wherefore do ye, Moses and Aaron, let the people from their works get you under your burdens? And Pharaoh said, the people of the land now are many, and you make them rest from their burdens. See, when you sit back and you look at it, he was sitting back saying he forsake Egypt. He didn't fear the wrath of the king. He put his trust in he that was invisible. Now you sitting back looking at that, he say, Moses, you causing the people to get rest. Like Yahshua was coming to give us rest. Because you telling the king to let my people go. That we can go to the wilderness and serve our God. So he forsook Egypt. And he say, all this stuff what you talking about you gonna do to us, I don't see it. That don't scare me. That don't scare me. You know the only people who were scared and worried? The people. You ain't hear Moses crying about none of this stuff. Oh, they gonna kill us. Oh, they gonna do this. Oh, they gonna do that. You don't see that, do you? You don't see that. You see Moses standing. Let's look at Yahshua in Luke chapter 13. Let's see what they told. Let's see what them people told him. Luke 13 and 30. (31) is good. Luke 13 and 30. The same day there came certain of the Pharisees, saying unto him, get thee out, and depart hence, for Herod will kill thee. And he said unto them, go ye, and tell that fox, behold, I cast out devils, and I do cures today and tomorrow, and the third day I shall be perfected. Nevertheless, I must walk today and tomorrow, and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet perish out of Jerusalem. You heard what it said, the Pharisee came and told, you better leave, Herod gonna kill you. Typical house nigga. Typical house nigga. Man, you keep talking about this stuff you talking about, man, man, Massa gonna hurt you, man, you better leave. Look what the Lord told him. You tell that dude I got work to do. He said, I do cure today, and on the third day I'll be perfected. And I got to walk through the land. I ain't worrying about no Herod. You scared of him. I'm not. Huh? Because he told him, I'm not of this world. So you know quite naturally he done already forsook all of that. I forsook it when I was born. I don't fear the king. He say by faith he had his eyes on him that was invisible. Remember how we read on Wednesday, he told Peter, don't you know that I could call down for my Father for 12 legions of angels right now? He said, but how else will the scripture be fulfilled? Because see, it's something that I was telling somebody when you sit back and you look at the Lord, and they was like, we not supposed to fight back? When it come down for the righteousness of the word, no, you ain't supposed to fight back. I want y'all to look at 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I'm talking about for the word. See, because the people always come up with all these crazy hypothetical situations. So you mean to tell me if somebody walk up and stab you or spit on you or beat them? Man, come on, man. Ain't nobody finna be randomly walking up, putting their hands on nobody. You know what I'm saying? If you in a situation where somebody randomly coming up, slapping you, spitting on you, obviously you hanging out in places you ain't got no business. You can't be serving God. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see too many saints having a problem with somebody walking up, just let me kill you. I'm finna stab you, nigga. What would be the impetus of this man just walk up and stab you? What's the impetus somebody did walk up and punch you in your face? Man, first 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 20. He say, for you suffer, if a man bring you into bondage, if a man devour you, if a man take of you, if a man exalt himself, if a man smite you on the face. I speak as concerning reproach, as though we had been weak. Howbeit, whensoever any is bold, I speak foolishly, I am bold also. You sit back and you see what I'm talking about? See, he said, I speak foolishly. Because somebody who don't know the word, that means you just dumb. He just sat back and said, I speak concerning reproach as though we had been weak. Because people sit back and they look at the things that can happen to you for the word, and you don't do nothing back. They take you as being weak. Ain't that how they take it? Well, let's go ahead and let's sit back, because he said, howbeit whensoever any is bold, I speak as a fool. He said, I'm bold also. He said, are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. This is where the brothers get the justification for calling themselves a Hebrew Israelite a lot of the times. It's from verse 22 of this said epistle. Because they see the two terms running behind each other. He said, are they ministers of the Messiah? I speak as a fool. He said, I am more. He said, so if I'm a minister of the Messiah, he said, I am more. He said, in labors more abundant. So he said, I'm grinding more. In stripes above measure. In prisons more frequent. In deaths often. He said, of the Jews 5 times received I 40 stripes, save one. He said, he didn't get it from no Romans. He didn't get it from no white man. He didn't get it from no Arabs. He didn't get it from no Asians. He said, I got it from my own kind. He said, thrice was I beaten with rods. Once was I stoned. Thrice I suffered shipwreck. Night and day I have been in the deep, in journeyings often, in perils of water, in perils of robbers, in perils of my own countrymen, in perils by the heathen, in perils in the city, in perils in the wilderness, in perils in the sea, in perils among false brethren, in weariness and painfulness, in watchings often, in hunger and thirst, in fastings often, in cold and nakedness. He said, and besides those things that are without, that which come upon me daily, the care of all the synagogues. Who is weak? And am I not weak? Who is offended? And I burn not? If I must needs glory, I will glory of the things which concern my infirmities. So now we got to take a quick step back and we got to look at something. This man sat back and said, if I'm a glory in anything, I'm a glory in the things that I've suffered. This man sat back and said, I was in trouble with robbers, people seeking to take from me. Who else was in peril of robbers? Huh? Joseph? No, Joseph wasn't in perils of no robbers because his brothers didn't seek to rob him. Yeshua got sought to be robbed though. He was in peril of robbers because the chief priest sure wanted to rob him. Just like they did with that man, just like Ahab and Jezebel did with that man and kings. He was in trouble with some robbers. Then he also... No, ain't nobody try to steal from David. Solomon, but he wasn't in no trouble though. Nigga tried to come and take what was Solomon's, but we read about that though. But he spoke against his own life. You know what I'm talking about? Then he say, in peril by my own countrymen. In peril by the heathen. So he sat back and looked at, I got trouble with Jews. I got trouble with the heathen. All in for what? Then he said he had trouble with false brethren. You know what a false brother is? Oh, Uncle Tom nigga. Nigga who's sitting around like he down, but he ain't down. He ain't down. He ain't down. You know what I'm saying? We know that Judas is one, but there's many others. Because you just read about the people turning in Samson. Look at Saul. Saul sought on numerous times to sell David out. Feigned to him like they were cool. But the whole time he was trying to kill him. Only different was he wasn't finna say. Matter of fact, he even tried to sit back and send David out to war to be killed. For some foreskins. I've been meaning to show y'all that for months. Ain't got around to it. You look at Nehemiah. He was in trouble of false brethren who would go, come on around here to the book of Nehemiah. They were trying to sell him out. Nehemiah chapter 6, if I'm not mistaken. They were trying to sell him out. Nehemiah 6:1. Yeah, they were trying to sell him out. Said, now it came to pass when Sanballat and Tobiah and Geshem the Arabian and the rest of our enemies heard that I built the wall, and that there was no breach left therein, though at that time I had not set up the doors upon the gates, that Sanballat and Geshem sent unto me, saying, come, let us meet together in some one of the villages in the plain of Ono. But they thought to do to me mischief. And I sent messengers unto them, saying, I'm doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and come down to you? Yet they sent unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them after the same manner. Then Sanballat his servant unto me in like manner the 5th time with an open letter in his hand, wherein was written, it is reported among the heathen, and that Gashmo saith it, that thou and the Jews think to rebel, for which cause thou build the wall, that thou may be their king according to these words. And thou hast appointed the prophets to preach of thee at Jerusalem, saying there is a king in Judah. Now it shall be reported to the king according to these words. Come now therefore, and let us take counsel together. Then I saith unto him, saying, there are no such things done as thou say, but thou feigned them out of thy own heart. For they all made us afraid, saying, their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. It's 3 things you should have heard when you heard that. First and foremost, you seen some men coming through, feigning they were some old Uncle Tom niggas. They seen them boy doing some work. They didn't like it. They wanted to run to the king and say, see, sir, they doing something, sir, they shouldn't be doing. We gonna go tell them this, sir, so we can go on here and they can come right here and you can kill them, sir. But you know what? He didn't fear them. Nor did he fear their wrath. He put his trust in he who was invisible. But you know what else he heard? Y'all didn't sit back and see how this man said that you gonna be their king and you appointed prophets to preach to you in Jerusalem. What that sound like to y'all? What that sound like to y'all? Don't that sound like Yahshua and the disciples? I'm going to read it again. In verse 6, wherein it is written, it is reported among the heathen, and Gashmu saith it, that thou and the Jews think to rebel. They already had said in Luke chapter 24 that they would have brought Yahshua to Pilate unless he was a malefactor, meaning unless he was a rebel. You already heard the men say, if any man speak against Caesar, he ain't Caesar's friend. And they say, what about Yahshua, king of the Jews? They say, we only have no king but Caesar. They said the man was a rebel. He say, for which cause thou build the wall, that thou may be their king according to these words. And thou hast also appointed the prophets to preach of thee at Jerusalem, saying there's a king in Judah. And now it shall be well reported to the king according to these words. Come now therefore, let us take counsel together. Didn't the people say Yahshua was, then one of the people saying he was king of Judah? Didn't they set back? Didn't he appoint the apostles to preach of him in Jerusalem? But listen to the key thing that he said. He said, then I say unto them, there are no such things done as thou say, but thou feigned them out of thy own heart. For they all made us afraid, saying their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done. Now therefore, O God, strengthen my hands. What y'all hear when you hear this man say, strengthen my hands, O God? What you get from that? No. Luke chapter 22. Luke 22, verse 38. Make it 37. Luke 22 and 37. For I say unto you, that this that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. And he came out and went as he was wont to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. And when he was at their place, he said unto them, pray that ye enter not into temptation. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down and prayed, saying, Father, if thou be willing, remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. And there appearing an angel unto him from heaven, strengthening him. Because you know he was about to get ready to do a great work to build the wall, knowing that these people were finna get ready to come kill him and say that he said he was a king. And all this stuff they were feign out of their mouth to get him to be afraid. And you see in Nehemiah saying, oh God, strengthen my hand. Well, there goes another spot where we can see why the angel came down to strengthen Yahshua. Because if the angel's been sent down, who sent the angel? If the angel, who sent it? If the angel there, who sent him? What's wrong with y'all? Y'all got rocks in your mouth? God sent it. God sent it. So if God sent the angel to strengthen Yahshua, then just like Nehemiah prayed, oh God, strengthen my hand, there it is. There it is. So guess what? That's another play. Because remember we seen Jonathan strengthening David when Saul was coming to kill him too, right? Because Nehemiah knew that these people were plotting on killing him. They were plotting on killing him. They said the man said, they were trying to set him up. But he didn't fear them. His trust was in him who he couldn't see. See, now Paul sitting back, and you sitting back looking at, when you look at King David, he was in a weak position. This man was fleeing from spot to spot. You know what I'm talking about? You look at Jeremiah, they locked him up. He was in a weak position. But he didn't fear these people. His trust was in him that was invisible. When you look at all the prophets of old, when you look at these men, they were in a spot of weakness, but in actuality had great strength, because when it came to the word, they were bold. See, men got strength and weakness mixed up when they come dealing with the word. They think that's a sign of weakness to take the persecution. But remember what we've done read before in 2 Corinthians chapter 12. When the Lord told Paul, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. You know what I'm saying? Remember the Lord said, even though the Lord was perceived to be weak, he was strong. In actuality, people don't realize it. It takes something to take what he took. It takes something to take that. I want y'all to look at Luke chapter 23, verse 45. You don't, but I'm saying it takes something, and after that we'll look at Luke chapter 12. See, it takes something. Because on the outside, because basically what, and we'll look at that too. What it looked like is you look like a fool. See, in a man's mind, you are a fool. How could you take that? He said the sun was darkened and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Yahshua had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And having thus said, he gave up the ghost. So when we sit back and look at it, he didn't care nothing about the king's commandment. He forsook all of that. And he put his trust in he who was invisible. Because he say, Father, in your hands I commend my spirit. Is that not him putting his faith and trust in him who he can't see? Because Because we know the testimony that Peter gave in Acts chapter 2 according to the book of Psalms. He said, I know you won't suffer your Kodesh one to see corruption. So my faith is in you that's invisible. See, what I'm mentioning this for is when you begin to stand up for righteousness' sake, and you begin to stand up for what's right, and you begin to stand up for justice and judgment and equality, and these people begin to run down on you, you got to put your trust in him who you can't see. You know what I'm talking about? So that's what you got to turn around, because the example is there. He say, Father, in your hands I commend my spirit. So my trust is in you, though I can't see you right now. I want you to look at 1 Peter chapter 3. Then we'll come and look at 1 Peter chapter 2. First Peter chapter 3 verse 9. Make it 8. He say, finally be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous. Not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrast blessing, knowing that you are thereunto called, that you should inherit a blessing. That means if somebody do something wrong to you, that means you shouldn't do nothing wrong back to them. That means if somebody say something about you, that mean you run your mouth back and say something back. I know some of y'all got the habit of that. Somebody say something mean and it click in your mind, let me say something mean back. And you know that actually is a form of, that's a form of immaturity. That's real childish. That's what a little kid do. He said something hurtful for me, so I'm going to say something hurtful back. He say, for he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and his lips, that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good, and let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers, but the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. Now just what we just sat back and talked about on Wednesday night, the man's ears will be open to your prayers. His eyes are over the righteous. His ear is wide open to your cry. He say, listen what he tell you now in verse 13. And who is he that will harm you if you be followers of that which is good? Who is he that will harm you if you be followers of that which is good? But listen what he said. But and if ye suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye. And listen what he tell you. Be not afraid of their terror, neither be troubled. When you sit back and you look at Moses, they didn't get hold of Moses, but Pharaoh wanted to do something for Moses. Moses was suffering for righteousness' sake. Some of y'all be suffering stuff. It don't be for righteousness' sake, though. Some of y'all suffering stuff because you're just dumb. When we talking about suffering for righteousness' sake, I ain't talking about you doing bad. I'm talking about somebody wanting to do something to you because of the word. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people ain't got to that point where somebody actually wants to do physical harm to you because of the word. Listen what he say now. This man sat back and said, he don't be afraid of the terror and don't be troubled, but sanctify Yah in your hearts. And be ready always to give answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Having a good conscience, that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your good behavior in the Messiah. For it is better, if the will of God be so, that you suffer for well-doing than for evil-doing. Now when you sit back and look at it, that's why we sit back telling you, we can't condone the people burning that stuff down. I can't tell you go burn it down. Go loot, go riot. I can't tell you go do that. I understand. I can't tell you go do it. Because if you go to suffering, you ain't suffering for righteousness' sake. Because it's better if you suffer for doing right than for doing wrong. A lot of these brothers ain't going to sit back and tell you that. A lot of them ain't going to tell you that. A lot of them are not going to tell you that. I want you to look at it here, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 21. Matter of fact, make it at 19. 1 Peter 2 and 19. This is about what comes down about trusting him that is invisible. Not fearing the wrath of them around you. Because that's what Peter said back telling you. If you be troubled for righteousness' sake, He say, don't be afraid of the terror. He say, sanctify the word in your heart, sanctify God in your mind, that you could give answer to a man with humility and godly respect why you have this hope. Why you don't have no fear of either being in prison or losing your life. He said, for this is thankworthy, if a man for conscience toward God endure grief, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it when you be buffeted for your faults, you shall take it patiently. But if when you do well and suffer for it, you take it patiently, this is acceptable with God. For even hereunto were ye called, because the Messiah also suffered for us, leaving us an example that you should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who when he was reviled not again, when he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judged righteously. That means he didn't see the king's commandment. They made a commandment for him to die. He didn't fear that. He put his mind and his heart into him who was invisible, him who he couldn't see. He said he endured. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1. He endured. Matter of fact, make it 2. Hebrews 12 and 2. Guess what? You know who else had that same thing? Stephen suffered wrongfully. He wasn't scared of what them people said about not preaching about Yahshua. He put his trust in him who was invisible. He endured. They stoned him to death. So guess what? When you come around and you dealing with these people out here in this earth, and they don't trust in Yah, and they don't believe in Yah, and they gonna be doing this and they saying this here, you can't be scared of them people. You're gonna have to stand on the word. Can't have no fear. Can't have no fear. You got to endure, trusting he that is invisible. That's the thing what a lot of people think. Like a woman said to me today, so you just supposed to take it waiting on your place in heaven. Who said anything about a place in heaven? We seeking to attain life by the resurrection of the dead. Matter thank the Lord. We'll read that in Hebrews 11:2. Hebrews 12 and 2. Look unto Yahshua, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross. He endured it. Listen why. Despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest you be wearied and faint in your own minds. You have not yet resisted under blood, striving against sin. He said, you ain't yet shed your blood not to sin. But you heard what he said. He endured. That's why he said, he that endured to the end, the same shall be saved. That means you're going to have to be able to forsake the world, forsake all of these things, and stand tall all the way to the bus out, trusting him that's invisible. Look at verse 32 of Hebrews chapter 11. Listen what he said. And he said, what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead, raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they may obtain a better resurrection. Others had a trial of cruel mockings and scourgings, yea, moreover of bonds and imprisonment. And they were stoned, and they were sown asunder, and were tempted, and were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains and dens and caves of the earth. You heard what the man said? He said some of them could have been delivered, but didn't accept it, seeking a better resurrection. That's where their mind was at. Let's go over here and look at Daniel about somebody else who wasn't afraid of the king's commandment. It's somewhere in the, it's in the 30s somewhere. I done turned from the page. Daniel chapter, what it is we want? Daniel chapter 3 here. Daniel chapter 3. Daniel chapter 3. I want you to read verse 15. Now y'all already know about them having to bow down and worship. We come in here to sit back and look at to see what Hananiah, Mishael, and I forget, always forget the third one name. I don't want to sit back and say Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego today. But Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, I will write the first time in my mind. The three Hebrew boys, who you know is Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. But Azariah, Hananiah, and Mishael, let's see what they told. Now if you be ready that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, and you fall down and worship the image which I have made, well. But if you worship not, you shall be in the same hour, and cast in the same hour into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So they sat back and they looked at the commandment of the king. They forsook that, and they endured in that fiery furnace as they put their trust in him who was invisible. They were delivered. You see, that's that same thing Peter says, sanctify Yah in your heart, and with all meekness and fear, be ready to give answer to a man while you have such a hope. Is that not what they just did? Huh? No, somebody else was saying something. Come over here and look at Daniel chapter 6. Now they did the same thing to Daniel. Let me see. Daniel chapter 6 about verse 10. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, and his windows being open in his chamber toward Jerusalem, he kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God as he did aforetime. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God. Then they came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree. Hast thou not signed a decree that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, the thing is true, according to the law of Medes and Persians, which alter not. Then answered they and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regard not thee, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but make his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, was sore displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him, and he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Now you know what I'm talking about? He wanted to, but he know he couldn't do it. But the key thing when you sit back and you look at Daniel was he didn't fear the king's commandment. He endured, putting his trust in him that was invisible. That's what we have to learn to do. Not just in the face of persecution, but no matter what you're dealing with, period. Because you notice Paul just didn't, come back to 2 Corinthians chapter 11. See, Paul just didn't mention false brethren and the trouble that he was going through. Listen what else he mentioned in 2 Corinthians chapter 11. Look what else he mentioned before I get ready to let y'all out of here. Look what else he mentioned right here in about verse 26. Or about 27. This man say he was in weariness and pain, and he had watchings often. He was hungry, he was thirsty, he was cold, he was naked. Paul even stated in one place, I don't even got no certain dwelling place. I know exactly what he's talking about, because I done been there. Come on to 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 10. Because remember now what I was telling y'all. These people sit back and say, you going to take all this stuff. People had to sit back, Daniel going to let the people